Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Osetale. On today's tutorial video, I'm going to be using this fabric to share with you guys how I recreated this dress. It is a crepe fabric and I have 3 yards of it. If you're of a bigger size, you will be needing up to 3.5 to 4 yards of fabric to be able to make that dress. Now I'm just going to go ahead to place the fabric aside, then I'll draft it out on my pattern paper. So guys, to be able to draft this pattern, these are the body measurements that you're going to be needing. So go ahead and write them down. Now to draft this pattern, the first thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and rule a line here, which is going to serve as the starting line. After doing that, I'm going to place my tape on the starting line just like this. Then I'll measure to the bust point. I'll take it all the way to the under bust. Then I'll take the waistline. I'm also going to take the hip line. The length of the dress is supposed to be 36 inches, but my pattern paper currently stops at 35.5 inches. I'll be adding the extra half inch to it when I'm cutting on fabric. I'm just going to come here and I'll mark the same thing, the bust points on the bust, waistline, the hip line. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect the dots with my straight ruler. After you're done connecting, you're going to label it. This is the bust point, the under bust, the waistline, and the hip line. We have the hemline or the full length. Now the next thing you're going to do is to come to the starting line and you're going to take your shoulder measurement divided by 2. From that mark, you will come down by 0.75 inch for the shoulder slope. Now the neck I'm going to be putting in this dress is very wide, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark 4.5 inches for my neck width. Note that if you're a bigger person, you should mark up to 5 to 5.5 inches for your neck width. Okay, so I just connected my shoulder slope. Now I'm going to get my armhole depth. This is normally done by dividing your round bust measurement by 6, then you will add 1.5. But for this case, I'm going to be adding only 1 inch to my round bust measurement divided by 6, because the dress is not going to have a sleeve and I don't want the armhole area to be too wide. So I just connected it and I'm going to connect it out just like this. Then you label it the chest line. Now this line that I have here, I'm going to divide it into 2 to get half of it. So from that mark that I just made, I will come in by 0.75 inch. Okay. Then here I'm going to take my round bust measurements divided by 4. Then I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect from this point here just like this. Then I will use my French curve to connect from this other point to meet it just like that. So this is what you're going to have. After you're done doing that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to come to the under bust line. I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. I'll take the same thing on the bust point and also on the waistline. Then I'm going to connect it with my straight ruler. After you're done doing that, now I'm going to come to the under bust area here. Then I'll go out from this line by 1.25 inches. Then I'll come to the waistline. I also go out by 1.25 inches. If you're of a bigger size, I would advise you go out by up to 1.5 or even 2 inches. Okay. So it totally depends on your size. Here, I'm going to come in by half inch here. I'll also come in by half inch here. Then I'm going to connect it with my straight ruler. I'll also connect here with my straight ruler. After you're done doing that, now you're going to come to the bust point. You will come down by 0.75 inches. It's not up to 1 inch. Okay. So now you're going to connect from here to meet that point. So just place your curve rule well, then you're going to connect the curve. Then use your straight ruler to connect from this point to meet the point as well. So this is what you're going to have. After you're done doing this, now the next thing I'm going to do is to get the neck of this dress. So this is the neck width that I already marked out. Then I'm going to be coming down by up to 6.5 inches for the neck depth. Know that if you have a bigger size, you will need to come down by more than 6.5 inches, obviously. But if you don't want the neck to be wide, you can use 6.5 inches. So I just ruled a line. Now from that line, I will mark what I have as my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Then I will extend this line just like that. After I'm done doing that, now from this line, I'll go out by 0.75 inches. Okay. So go out there by 0.75 inches. And here, I'm going to be coming in by 0.25 inches. It's not up to half inch, guys. It is half of half inch, which is 0.25 inches. So I'll just mark it here. Then after marking, I'm going to connect it with my straight ruler to meet the bust point just like this. Then I'm going to use my French curve to connect from this other mark to meet the bust point as well. So after you're done doing that, I'm also going to connect from the neckline to meet this area here. So just go ahead and connect it just like this. So guys, this is what you're going to have. So all this area that I'm marking out right now, we are going to be cutting them off. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to extend the dart. So in order for me to extend the dart, I'm just going to measure what I have here. So I'll take it on the hip line, and I'll also take it on the hem line just like this. Then I'll measure what I have from here to here. I'll also take it on the hip line and also on the hem line. Now I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect it just the way you see me doing. So guys, now all this area here, we're also going to be cutting them out. So now after you're done doing this, now the next thing I'm going to do is take my round body measurements. So here I have my round bust measurements divided by 4 here. Then I'm going to come to the waistline. I'll take my round waist measurements divided by 4. I have it here. Then I'll measure this dart that I'm going to be cutting out. I will add it to it just like this. Then I'll come to the hip line. I'll take my round hip measurements divided by 4. I will add the dart to it. Then I'll also take what I took on my hip line, what I have from here to here. I'll take exactly the same thing on my hem line. So after you're done doing that, you're going to connect this. So before I connect this dart that is at the top here, I'll be adding it to my bust measurement. Okay, so I just added the dart that I have here to my bust measurement, then I connected it to meet my waist. Then I use the hip curve to connect from the waist to the hip. Then I'm going to connect it from the hip all the way to the end and blend out any sharp edge. Okay, so after you're done doing that, this is what you're going to have it looking like. So this is it guys for the drafting of the front part. I'm just going to cut it out. This is what you're going to have after you're done cutting. So this is it for the front part. I'm just going to label it the center front, and this other one is the side front. Okay, so this is it for the drafting of the front piece. I'm just going to go ahead and place them aside. For the drafting of the back, I've already ruled out all the basic lines that I need. So this is the starting line, and I also rule out the zipper allowance. So here is the zipper allowance. Then after I was done doing that, on the starting line, I took my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I came down by 0.75 inch. Then I took my neck width and I connected my shoulder slope. After doing that, I took my bust point, the waistline, the hip line, and the full length. Then after I was done doing that, on the shoulder line, I came down by 7 inches, which is for my armhole depth, and I ruled it out and labeled it the chest line. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead to create my armhole. So I'm just going to divide what I have here into 2, and I will get the midpoint of it. So from that point, I'm going to go in by ½ inch. After you're done doing that, you're going to come to the chest line. You take your round bust measurements divided by 4. Then you're going to connect your armhole just like this. First of all, rule a straight line. Then use your French curve to create the curve just like this. So guys, this is it. Now after you're done doing that, the next thing you're going to do is to come to the shoulder line. So from here to here is the neck width. So I'm just going to come down by up to 7.5 inches for the neck depth of the back. So you remember for the front I use 6.5 inches for the neck depth. So for the back I'm using 7.5 inches. So what I have from here to here is 4.5, but from here I'll be taking 4 inches. Okay, from here to here I have 4.5 inches, but from here to here I'm going to take 4 inches. So what I did is I basically removed ½ inch from what I took at the top, and I took it at the area here. Then you're going to go ahead and connect your neckline just like that. Then after you're done doing that, now it's time to create the dart. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and come to the bust point. I'll take my nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. I'll take the same thing on the waistline, and I'll also take the same thing on the hip line, then also on the hemline. After you're done doing that, you're going to create a straight line just like this. Now after you're done doing that, you're going to come to the waistline. You're going to take ½ inch on both sides of this line that I just drew. So just take half inch on both sides. Then you're going to connect it to meet the hip line, just like this. Then after connecting, you just increase this line, like extend it up just like that. Then you're going to connect it to meet it just like this to create your dart. So guys, this is it for the dart of the back. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and take my round body measurement. I already have my bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to come to the waistline and take my waist measurement divided by 4. I will add the dart. Then I'll come to the hip line. I'm going to take my hip measurements divided by 4. Then I'll also take what I took on my hip line. I'll take it on the hemline. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect it with my straight ruler. Then from the waist, I will connect it with my hip curve to meet the hip line. Then I'll connect it all the way to the end, just like this. Then after you're done doing that, just blend out any sharp edge. So guys, now the next thing I'm going to do is to come to the waistline. I will go in here by half inch. So this is to eliminate zip bulge. Okay, so just connect it to meet the chest line just like that. You're also going to connect it to meet the hip line. So this is it, guys. So normally I would have replaced this half inch to the side here, but I realized that each time I do that, the back piece will always be looking bigger than the front. So I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to go ahead now to cut it out just like this. So guys, while I was cutting, I realized that I was supposed to reduce the zipper allowance also by half inch because I reduced that side by half inch. I'm also supposed to reduce the zipper allowance by half inch. So do well to do that, okay, before you start cutting. So just go ahead and reduce it just like that. Then you're also going to go ahead and cut it out. So this is it. This is what you're going to have. This is the back piece, okay? Now I'm going to bring back the front pieces that I cut earlier. I'm going to be joining it together with my mastic tape so that I can cut out the area at the side that I'm going to be using for gathers. So just go ahead and put it together like this. Then you're going to use your mastic tape to tape it down. Try not to tape it to be too much because we are going to remove it again. So you don't want it to be too stick to the paper that you will not be able to take it out later. Okay, so after you're done doing that, now what I'm going to do is at the end here, I'm just going to mark 2.5 inches. Okay, then I'll come to the waist area here. I'll come down by 2 inches. Okay, now I'm going to connect this. So I'll try and use my curve rule. So I decided to use my free hand. So just go ahead and make a curve on it just like that to meet these other points. Okay, so just keep using your free hand to sketch this until you get the desired shape to be looking like this. Okay, then after you're done doing that, you're just going to go ahead to cut it out. So guys, this is it. This is what I'm going to be using for the gathers. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove my mastic tape. You can see it was kind of difficult for me to remove it. So that was why I was like, don't make it to be too sticky. So this is it, guys. Now I'm going to be using this to also cut out on the back piece. So you're just going to bring your back piece just like this. You also place this at the side. So you trace it out just the way you see me doing. Then go ahead and cut it out. So guys, this is it. This is for the gathers at the side. So this is the bodies. So I just decided to cut the darts open. You can choose to leave yours, but I just decided to cut mine open just like this. So guys, this is it. This is what you're going to have. I'm just going to also go ahead and label it. So this is the center back and this other one is the side back. Okay, so this is it for the drafting of the pattern papers, guys. You can see I have both the front and the back. Now I'm going to go ahead to use them to cut out on my fabric. So you can see I've already done that. I'm just going to explain to you guys how I cut them out. So for the center front, so this one here is the center front. I cut two pieces of it. I cut it on fold first of all. I cut it on fold and I cut two pieces of it. One is going to be for the actual fabric and the other one will be for the lining. So I added half inch to all the sides as you can see, and at the end here I added 1.5 inches to it. So I told you guys that when I was drafting, my pattern paper was half inch shorter than the length, so I added a half inch and also extra 1 inch. So that was why I added 1.5 inches, and I cut two pieces for both the actual fabric and the lining. So for the side front, I cut out for also the actual fabric and the lining. So two for the actual fabric and two for the lining. You can see I have four pieces of it. Okay. So I also added all the sewing allowances. I added half inch to all the sides. So for the end here, I also added 1.5 inches. Okay. Just the same way that I did for the center front. You can see. And here I also added 1.5 inches here for the sewing allowance. So that was how I cut out the side front. So this is it, guys, for the front pieces. I also did the same thing to the back pieces. Okay. So for the center back, so this here is the center back. You can see I already added the zipper allowance, so I don't need to add any other allowance. I just added half inch to all the sides, and here I added 1.5 inches to the length. So, and I cut four pieces of it, two for the actual fabric and two for the lining pieces. Okay, so that was what I did, and also to the side back, I added all the sewing allowances. I added 1.5 inches to the side and also to the side, and I cut four pieces of each, two for the actual fabric and two for the lining pieces. So guys, that was how I cut out everything on my fabric, as you can see right now. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring this one that I cut out of the side. I'll be slashing it and spreading it for me to cut out the piece I'm going to be using for the gathers at the side. So in order for me to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and, rule lines on it in order for me to cut it out. So guys, you can remember that we cut it out of the side. I want to show you guys something. So I'm just placing my, patterns together. We cut it out of the side just like this. Okay. So this is the one I cut out of the back. Don't worry, I can use it. So we cut it out of the side just like this. So this side here, I'm going to be cutting on fold when I'm cutting on my fabric. So this side that I just marked right now will be cut on fold. Okay. So that was what I wanted to explain to you guys. Now that I've marked the area that will cut on fold, now I'm just going to go ahead and slash this into four. So I'll just, get the middle of it. So I will divide each one into half. So just get half of it, then get the half of this other part. Then you're going to go ahead and rule the lines with your straight ruler. After you're done doing that, this one that I'll be cutting on fold, I will label it piece 1, 2, 3, and 4. So guys, now I'm going to go ahead and, cut it out. So guys, this is what you're going to have. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring my fabric. So this is the fabric I'm going to be using to cut it out. So you're just going to go ahead and fold it together like this. So I don't really have enough fabric remaining, guys. I'm just trying to make use of what I have remaining. So I folded it into two, then I folded it again. So my fabric is folded into four, and you can see the side there how it is looking like. Okay, so after you're done folding your fabric like this, you're going to bring the pieces. I told you guys that the piece one is going to be at the area that is on fold. Okay, so just go ahead and place your piece one at the area that's on fold like this. Then you're going to pin it down. So before you pin, make sure to give it like half-inch allowance. I already told you guys that I don't have enough fabric remaining, so I'm just trying to make do with what I have. So then you're going to, give it a space of about 7 inches. I'll be spreading it with 7 inches. So I just went ahead to pin down the piece two, and I also mark 7 inches again. Then I'll go ahead and pin down the piece three. Okay, then now I also mark another 7 inches. Then you're going to pin down the last piece. So guys, this is what you're going to have after you're done doing that. So just go ahead and use your chalk to connect it just like this. Can you see? Just going to connect it like this all the way to the top there. Then after doing that, you're going to cut it out. So guys, this is it. You're also going to cut this area here open just like this. So this is what you're going to have. Now go ahead and remove your pattern paper. Okay, After you're done doing that, you're going to make a notch at the middle just like this. So guys, this is it for the pattern drafting. In my next video, I'll be sharing with you guys the sewing tutorial. Bye.